Welcome to the next video in a series of 10 called Schizophrenia Demystified. I'm Dr. Linda Snow-Griffin, a retired psychologist and the mother of a son with schizophrenia. The title of this video is, How Can You Reduce the Stress Related to Schizophrenia? Reducing stress related to schizophrenia helps to manage symptoms, especially voices or auditory hallucinations. Of course, the number one way to help reduce symptoms of schizophrenia is to seek good treatment and have qualified mental health professionals to work with. The tips that I am about to share are not a substitute for good treatment. What I'm going to share are some behaviors that my son learned to help him cope with his symptoms early in his diagnosis of schizophrenia, in addition to his medication, and that he can still rely on now that he has met recovery standards. He would say that his number one stress management aid has been listening to music. He has always liked music of many genres, but most often he leans toward classical music. Before his medications usually eliminated his negative voices, he almost always tuned into a classical music station on the radio. He claimed that the music helped to block the negative voices and he could override their really hurtful comments. Later, a friend gave him an iPod, which enabled him to listen to music wherever he was, in class or at work. Now, he still enjoys the comfort of music using his phone and his Bluetooth. Even though his negative voices no longer harass him, he finds the use of music to be calming and comforting. Research has shown links between listening to music and how our brain functions. Music can stimulate areas of the brain that help us pay attention and to remember things. In addition, listening to music can increase neurotransmitters serotonin and dopamine, which can increase pleasure and joy. Increased serotonin can combat depression, angry outbursts, and sleep difficulties. Increased levels of dopamine can help with social anxiety and social withdrawal. And these are symptoms that many with schizophrenia deal with. So Jacob's use of music has support from recent studies. Consistency is another important behavior that Jacob and I found that helped him manage his symptoms. And many of us who have survived the recent pandemic can vouch for the healing power of consistency. When the world as you know it is falling apart and you have no control over what's happening, creating your own order, engaging in familiar activities, and relying on the rhythm of a schedule can be helpful. During the pandemic, my husband and I relied on constants that we tried to build into our schedules: daily walks and regularly scheduled Zoom meetings with family and friends. These experiences gave us a sense of control. In my son's case, after he was diagnosed and received initial treatment for schizophrenia, he returned to his high school classes as soon as he was able. He may not have fully benefited from the academic input at the time, but he most likely found comfort in being in familiar surroundings and having a regular schedule. While at college, he almost always called me at 7 p.m. every day. This was nothing that I requested, but it was his time to check in, and truthfully, we both found comfort in the phone call. It wasn't always long, but it was just a time that became part of his routine. Routine can be comforting in times of upheaval, and it can be a message that life can go on, at least for today. And the third stress management technique that Jacob found helpful was taking a break. This can mean walking away from a stressful situation, taking a nap, playing a video game, disengaging from the present with another activity. Many times, early in his illness, Jacob would attend a family gathering, and before the gathering was over, he would be asleep on the couch or in a chair, while all the noise of the gathering would be continuing all around him. How he slept then, I'll never know, but it was something that he needed to do. Now he's pretty tuned in to what he can manage, and sometimes he will just avoid holiday gatherings if his stress level is high. My feeling is that it's better to miss a gathering than to bring on those hurtful negative voices. To learn more about Jacob's recovery process, you can read my book, Hope in Learning, Our Journey with Schizophrenia, or go to my website for more information, lindasnow-griffin.phd.com. The next video in this series will be about caregivers. How can caregivers help loved ones with schizophrenia? Thank you for watching this video, and be sure to watch the next one to find out more about caregiving.